Hey, today I want to go through handstands, whether you can do a handstand or not, the journey towards handstand. So we'll prep our hands and our shoulders. See if you have got a spare wall and maybe set your iPad up or your computer that you're watching from really close to a wall, because we'll move around. But the wall is it's like good real estate. These are a pair of back balls. They're not cheap. They're exactly the same as 2 tennis balls and masking tape. So just get 2 tennis balls and masking tape them together. They're a really good tool. So we're going to be using those today as well. Give your hands a shake out. Remember the Queen on speed. Squeeze those fists together, tight as you can, and shake it out. So try and get lots of blood flow down into the hands. And give them a really good squeeze again. And one more time. Beautiful, place those hands on the ground. So just bending back at the finger pad. So keep that pad of the finger connected to the floor and see if you can go for a right angle. Just gently working into the knuckles. If you cannot get a 90-degree angle on both of your hands, you're going to take your opposite knee and you're going to wedge it up against the back and block your fingers with your hand and gently use your knee to try and create a right angle. Roll from your first finger back to your pinky finger. We always favour our first and second fingers. And then gently try and push your fingers down into the floor and try and straighten your hands. Start very gently and then push the fingers down into the ground. And then relax them and see if you can just transfer that weight forward. That's a cat. Hey buddy, what you doing? Beautiful, shake those fingers out. And the other side. Block the fingers with the other hand and just draw the knee in behind the back. Don't go crazy, it doesn't have to super hurt, but it's not comfortable. Gently shift the weight from the first finger to the pinky finger so that you're distributing the weight evenly between the fingers. And then gently try and push your fingers down into the ground. Take a big breath in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the fingers and see if you can draw the hand into a right angle a bit more. And then slowly release, give the fingers a shake out. This is called Edward Scissorhands. And then going into clocking, so onto the backs of the wrists, and just working your way through the clock. Trying to straighten the arms out at each hour. So you want to keep it moving when you're doing dynamic stretching. You're not forcing it, you're not going really fast, you're just moving in and out of the stretch. Nice. Another really nice stretch is to actually sit on your hands and literally pull your arm bones out of your wrist bones. It's a really nice traction. Nice little stretch across the back. Give them a little shake out again. I got the slippers on. Okay, So hands down on the ground. I'm going to take that weight over the wrists, just checking with how the wrists are feeling. A lot of the time I get a really strong compression feeling towards the back of my wrist, so I tend to always start with my internal clocking and my traction to open up the back of my wrists, and then I move more into weight bearing over my wrists. So some circles, just gently taking that weight forward. Sorry about that. I was thinking about switching my phone off when I started. So weight around the hands, and back the other direction. That's life calling. Elbow, eyes in front, elbow, eyes behind. Elbow, eyes in front, elbow, eyes behind. So just really spreading the fingers on the floor, stretching the webbing out in between the hands. Thinking about connecting to the floor through all of the joints. And then rotating the fingers wide, shift the weight forward and round in a circle. Elbow, eyes in front, elbow, eyes behind. So I'm getting a really strong stretch through the forearm when I rotate my elbow, eyes inwards. And then rotating fingers back towards you. So I don't have a lot of weight in my hands. I've probably got about 50-50 between my knees and my hands. And I'm just going to shift my weight back behind my fingers. Just gently trying to stretch out my forearms. Just going to do some gentle circles. I'm going to try and pull my elbow eyes back towards me and rotate them in front and pull them back. Release those hands. Grab hold of my arm bone and just give my wrist a bit of a flop. Just try and release those joints. Disco fingers. This actually feels really nice. See if you can take it back the other way. And I'm just going to draw some circles with my knuckles. I'm just mobilizing my wrists, warming up through my knuckle joints. And I'm going to take my hands apart, cross them over, interlace them, draw them through, and I'm not even going to say wiggle, because wiggle is too linear. It's kind of a woggle, so it's kind of like you're just wiggling and moving all over the place, just trying to open up the wrist joints. And you're going to take them around the other way. Excellent. Off comes the leg. Bring the knuckles down so that the knuckles are meeting each other and the arms are on a straight line. And then try and straighten out the arms. Again, just mobilizing the back of the wrists. I actually get a better stretch if I wind my hand up into a fist, curl my fingers inwards and then really open up the back of my hands. So I'm trying to straighten out my arm and pull my knuckles back towards me so I've got a completely closed fist. So basically you're looking for the tension that you've got in your wrists. For me, as I say, it's all through the front of my wrists, but it could be different for you. So you're winding it up, you're trying to find where you need to create a bit more room. Again, close the fingers inwards, pull the knuckles inwards. Try and straighten out the arm. Another really nice one is palm down, thumb away from you, grab the thumb, bend the wrist back and try and pull it towards you and straighten out the arm. So it's more of a wrestling lock. And breathe. Same thing again, so it goes palms down, thumb under and away from you, grab the thumb on the other side, bend the wrist and pull it back towards you, and gently try and glide and straighten the arm. Beautiful. So fingers inwards, back of the hands onto the ground. I've not got a lot of weight in my hands, but I'm just going to glide through a bit of a push-up on the back of my wrists. So again, just strengthening up the wrists, just mobilizing them. And I'm trying to do the same thing with my wrists backwards. Less weight through the hands this time for me. And then over onto my fingers. Finger push-ups. Let's do 10. Beautiful. Come on to the knees. So again, we always favour the first and second fingers. Short arms. T-Rex loves chaturanga. I'm going to have to round my back out to reach my pinky fingers down to the ground. But I'm going to push my pinky fingers into the ground slowly, and then I'm trying to push the floor away. So you're going to hold it for about 10-15 seconds each finger. So pushing as hard as you can, so you're really trying to get those little fingers activated. And then third finger. Start gently as you push it down into the ground, and then see if you can really apply some pressure. Can you hear the magpies? And thumbs. So I'm going to go onto my knuckles. I'm going to roll forwards onto my thumbs and then back onto my elbows. So up onto my knuckles, forward onto my thumbs. So I'm rotating, so I'm really mobilizing the wrist and coming down onto the back of the hands. So thumbs, rolling back. It's going to look like this side with. So the other one is back of the wrist knuckles, back of the wrist knuckles, back of the wrist knuckles. You could do them together. So most of these wrist drills, we start them in a non-weight bearing environment where we're just mobilizing, and then we start to apply more body weight to them. The other finger grip when we're up in handstand, because we want to use our hands like their feet. So we want to, that's our first base of of balance is our hands, and then it's the stacking of the joint systems. So this is our first port of call. So if we can make our hands as receptive as our feet are when we balance on our feet, and it's our toes that pull us out of chaos back into alignment. So we're constantly trying to find that line. We want our hands to be as receptive as our feet. So you're going to place the pads of the hands down with the fingertips, and you're going to pull the fingertips back towards your first pad. So my second knuckle's lifting. I'll go this way so you can see me. So my little pinky finger doesn't want to behave. Something keeps going on. So I'm just going to pull those things, and I'm going to take weight into my hands. And I'm going to play with pushing off my fingers. Again, if you're struggling to get your fingers into that position, just drag and pull them back. Drag and pull them back. So you're creating that middle joint to lift off the ground. Beautiful. Set of back balls, just down in between the shoulder blades. Pop them on the floor, and so you can get them right between your shoulder blades and your rhomboids, the two muscles in between, and just mobilize the hands overhead. So make sure your body's straight over them. So you've got a ball either side of your spine. So the little gap in the middle of the ball is where your spine is. And we're trying to go for an open shoulder. So we're trying to open up through the shoulder girdle, because that is the position that we go into when we're weight bearing through our hands upside down. You want to move your body down a little bit over it. Move them a little bit higher, so you're just starting to massage the traps. Everyone needs a pair of these at home. Even when you travel, they're awesome. So we can spend a lot of time playing on these, but we won't. Just check and see if you've got a little plate that I should have prepared earlier. Normally we use the cones in the clinic. I've got a chip in this, so it doesn't really matter if I drop it. You're going to hold the plate. Come standing. So you're going to hold the plate out to the side, you're going to take it under your arm. And so you don't want to spill anything off the plate. Under the arm, straight out to the side. Under the arm. So I'm trying to keep my shoulder down. I could essentially do this on my knees. So I'm nerve gliding. I'm trying to lift that plate up as high as I can without jamming it up into my neck. So I'm trying to keep my shoulder girdle down. I'm trying to wind my fingers underneath the plate. Underneath my arm, straight out to the side. So I'm getting a really yummy stretch down the inside of my bicep. Seeing how high I can lift it, keeping that shoulder down. Back to the other hand. I am on my knees, and I'd normally do this on my feet. You're going to use your whole body to make the movement happen. So I'm going to take the plate behind my head, and I'm going to bring it under my arm. So I'm doing a figure 8. Keep breathing. See if you can synchronize the breath with the movement. So I'm trying to open up through my spine as much as I can. I'm back bending the arm behind my head. And then I'm going to try and quieten my body down and see if I can do the same movement. And then I'm going to take it back the other way, and I'm going to use my whole body. It's like a little camel in there. And then I'm going to start to quieten my body down and see if I can still get that really big range of motion in my shoulder. And I drop the plate. Didn't break. Alright, other side. I'm going to go around the back of my head first. Underneath my armpit, around the back of my head. Start to quieten the body down a little bit. Still keep that yummy stretch going on in the back of the rib cage though. I'm going to take it back the other way. Use the whole body underneath the armpit, around the head. Sneak a little camel in there. Start to quieten the body down. T-plate exercise. When we do kick up in yoga for handstand, you need to warm up through your hip flexors because you're going to be doing splits. So we've warmed up our wrists and our fingers and our shoulders, so we're kind of all prepared there. So we could essentially do a drawing drill. So weight there down onto the hands, pull the fingers back, come up onto toes, and take the weight right over onto the hands. Come up right up onto the toes of the feet. Gaze at the space between the hands and really suck up through the stomach and just hold it. Beautiful. That got me warm really quick. So we want to do splits. So come into a 90 degree angle. Remember instinctually that leg you want to put forward, change your legs out. You come off all the layers now. We haven't even made it to June yet in Adelaide and I'm dying. No. You know, cold is falling asleep and missing your bus at the bus stop and dying. That's cold. It's a different kind of cold here. So the leg that you want to put forward, change legs. Tuck into a 90 degree angle. Bring both hands down inside the foot. And make sufficient space between your front foot and your back knee. And look for your tight line for today. Inhale, lift the chest, allow the hips to relax. Exhale, contract, relax. So we're going to pull that front foot back towards the back knee. Start very gently and start to really contract them towards each other. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Make those legs go just a little bit wider apart. Shift the weight left, right. Inhale, lift the chest, relax the hips, relax the belly. Do a gentle contract relax here. So just trying to pull the front foot and the back knee together. And again, start very gently. You feel the muscles contracting, they're stretched out. Really try and pull them together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And just as far as what's comfortable for this morning. I'm going to bring my hands either side of my knee. I'm going to pull that heel back a little bit and just come back into my nerve glide. Toes towards the ceiling. Leg doesn't have to be straight. Suck up through the stomach, arch the back towards the ceiling and drop the forehead towards the knee. Just until you feel that tension somewhere down along your back, your leg. Take a big breath in, windscreen wiper your foot. And then exhale, really anchor down into the front heel, arch the back, forehead towards the knee. So you're just creating tension along that nerve line. Beautiful. Glide that foot back, bring your other foot forwards. Same thing again, both hands go inside. Allow the hips to draw forward and then just wiggling them from side to side. Look for your tight line today. Inhale, lift the chest, relax the hips. And then start your contract relax. So gently trying to draw your front foot back towards your back knee. Starting nice and gently and then really try and pull them back. And relax. I'm going to edge my foot a little bit further forward. Keep wiggling around looking for your tight line. When you find that line that is the tightest, stop. Take an inhale, lift the chest, let the hips relax. Pull the front foot back towards the back knee. And really try and pull them back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you can go a little bit further. Just until you get that nice balance between the back of the hamstring stretch and the psoas on the back leg. And then I'm going to glide my front heel back a little bit to come into my nerve glide. So I'm just going to lift my toes up towards the ceiling, push my heel down towards the ground, suck up through my stomach, arch the back, draw my forehead or my chin towards my chest, just until I feel that tension. And I'm going to release it and just give that foot a bit of a flick. Windscreen wiper. And again, arch. Just one breath there and glide off. Beautiful. So, a couple of different ways of going in. If you're not used to weight bearing through your shoulders, it may be enough for you to do half dog against the wall. If squat is available to you, just being able to take weight into the arms, so just practicing weight bearing through the arms, so really locking the arms out. I think girls have got a little bit of an advantage where we've got almost hyperextended elbows, some of us, not all of us, guys have it too. So maybe today it's just enough for you to take a little bit of weight down into the hands, just moving around. Or take your mat up against the wall. We're going to measure our leg distance away from the wall. So there's a couple of different ways we can go in from the wall. So the first one's half dog. So you lie mat against the wall. So this is a great way to start prepping yourself for taking full weight through the shoulder joints. Sit yourself up against your wall. Measure your leg distance. So where the base of my heel is reaching the ground, I'm going to put the base of my hand. So that's a full right angle. I'm going to put my feet up on the wall. If you've never done this before, it's going to feel like you're going to fall over your own head. So you may want to kind of step your hands a little bit further forward the first time, just so you know what it feels like. We're going to come up, and I'm going to step my legs up the wall. So I want to go up into a right angle. And I'm pushing away from the ground. So if I look at myself sideways, I wouldn't make a right angle. So I'm going to bring my hands back a little bit further into that line where the measurement of my legs was. Spread my fingers, pull my fingers back, so I'm practicing lifting that second knuckle, playing with the weight over my hands. come up onto my toes, step one foot back onto the wall and step the other foot, and then try and straighten out the legs. And breathe. I'm thinking of connecting my ribs to my hips. I'm really locking my arms out as much as I can and pushing away from the wall. Then you're going to hold that for as long as it's comfortable. And then you're going to come down. If it feels like you need to give the wrists a bit of a break, you can. So that's half dog. I can't even demonstrate it sideways for you. Oh, I could do it against the fridge. So we practice doing our splits. So our first handstand of the day will always be chest against the wall. And we can walk our hands back, we can kiss the wall. I actually find that quite difficult. Or you can do a split up wall. So that's another really nice way of practicing. So I'm going to walk my hands all the way back to the wall. And I'm going to get as close to the wall as I can. So wherever I can find splits on the wall, and I'm just going to anchor my top leg into the wall and float my bottom leg up off the ground. And maybe that's enough, just to float. And I'm going to change legs. I'm just going to float that foot up off the ground. I do everything in threes. So maybe that's enough for you and you don't want to do any more. You could walk your leg back up and walk your legs back to the wall. I often cartwheel inwards, but I could go up the wall and I could set my other leg straight up. And you want to kiss the wall. So I'm going to point my toes, I'm going to squeeze my glutes. And you want to name 5 fruits that start with P. Plum, persimmon, pineapple, pear. When you want to come out, you're just going to step sideways. That was really ungraceful. I find it easier to actually cartwheel in. And the mat is kind of throwing me off a little bit here. So you're just checking in with what the shoulders are feeling like today. You can draw some circles around shoulders, practicing keeping the ribs connected. And when you're ready to step out, step sideways. If the wrists are feeling congested, give them a bit of a shake out. So if we were going to kick up the other way, you want to place your hands on the ground, and you've usually got a leading leg that you favour. So I'm going to take my hands at least 6 inches away from the wall, maybe more. So we're going to do floating drills. So kick one leg up, and then straight up into handstand. So I'm going to take one leg off the wall, and I'm going to see if I can float away from the wall. Oh, I lost it. So as soon as you come out, just go back in again. If you need to give the wrists a bit of a shake out. So I'm going to move my hands a little bit further away from the wall. Make sure your hands are in line with your shoulders. Grip the floor with your fingertips. Send one leg up. And float. Gaze down between the space in between the hands. Have a little float. So you're just practicing float time. My wrists get that congested feeling really quickly, so you can always go into wrists inwards and give them a bit of a stretch out. So maybe write me some comments as to where you're at. Are you struggling to kick up? Are you struggling with your half dog? Is that cool? Are you ready to move to different kinds of drills where we can do spread leg drills or straddle drills? It's really not useful for me doing handstands against the wall if you're not able to do handstands against the wall. Maybe we need to do some more strengthening drills or something like that. So if you want to shoot me some feedback back as to what you want to work on, I can do something a little bit more specific. I'm going to go and practice some more float time. Hopefully you will too. And know that you want to keep your brain really active when you're in handstand. So the minute that you feel when you come out of handstand that you're breathing really heavy, you're working too hard. So you want to be quite relaxed there. And you want to be able to think. So holding a conversation with someone, being able to talk and breathe is really important. So if you feel like you're not breathing and you're stifling your breath and you're feeling a bit stressed, just come out. We'll go back to doing some drills again. You want to line the discs of the spine up, you want to line rib cage and hips, so you want to really stack those joints. And remember, the play time is with the fingers. So when you go over the hands, you feel your fingers pull yourself back. So that's what you can practice when you're floating one leg up off the wall. And know that when you're upside down, time changes. You know, 3 seconds feels like 3 minutes. So I'm going to go practice some floats, and then hopefully I'll get some feedback from you and I can do some different stuff from there. Okay, have a good day.